boys and girls, this is the end, the tail end, the last one. We saved the best for the last, because here we are at the end of 25 interviews in 1 month's time. That's like a half a year. I got to screw loose, my friend. That's like a half year's worth of interviews squashed into a 30-day period. And look who we have to send us off in a very fine fashion, because I got to take a little break. This is Certain Pablo Don Kincaid and my very special guest. Woo woo! It's J Heru. How are you, my friend?
Personification style, the shining dawn of professional wrestling, Mr. Thompson himself. I am well.
See, I didn't know all of those monikers, sir. You have a few that I was not aware of. Again, I don't do my homework, so that's on me. My bad.
Oh, people see me at shows. I always dress nice, Versace. Even this, wearing the tank top.
Huh?
Little pullback. I'm the personification of style. I'm the best dressed man when I go in any building. I'm the shining dawn of professional wrestling because I always shine the brightest when I'm in the room. And I'm Mr. Stomps and Kisses because people's faces get stomped in and they need boots.
I'm kind of digging Mr. Stomps and Kisses. I really like that one myself. But don't do that to me, please. Don't do that to me.
As long as you give J Heru his credit.
I can give credit where credit is due. I do have fun at the shows. I kind of maybe push the buttons of the bad guys, the heels, if you will. And Mr. Heru, we're going to just start right there because, again, no formula. I don't write a damn thing down. Again, that's me. My bad. We just hit the record button and hope for the best. And that's what we do. So let's kind of start right there because I have noticed, very beautifully dressed, and I absolutely love to talk about the professionalism of when a wrestler walks through those curtains, down that ramp, through the doorway, whatever the situation is. Look professional. As I say, look the part. Give us the signals. What do we do? Do we boo? Do we cheer? Bring us in that direction. And if there's one thing, boys and girls, if you are not familiar with one J Heru, and it's not Jay Heru, it's just the letter J, Heru. We'll definitely get into the details at the very tail end. But Mr. J Heru, he comes through the curtain. He looks very professional, like a professional wrestler should. Always gorgeous. The smile. Oh, my God, the beautiful smile of one J Heru. But he seems to be on the bad guy side. Is that correct, my friend?
Yes. I mean, I don't consider myself a bad guy. I'm not saying I'm a good guy. I'm J Heru.
Well, J Heru, you come through that curtain. You have a presence. You own that presence. You take what you're doing coming through that curtain. You take it wholeheartedly in 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, gazillion percent, and you don't do it. You don't do it half-assed. That's what we love about the boys and girls that come through the curtain and really put in those extra efforts to look very presentable as a professional wrestler. So good guy, bad guy, you don't seem to feel you have a side of the fence. We do. I don't know, like a couple of the talent have said, I don't consider myself either. It's you guys and girls, you the fans that have kind of decided that on your own when I come through the curtain and say what I have to say or beat up who I have to beat up. And one J Heru, you seem to be one of those guys as well.
Yes, whatever intentions I feel like doing to somebody, I will do. Whether it's for the greater good or it's terrible. All I care about is when I get in that ring.
And it's all about the win because you get that.
Yes, and I drink champagne afterwards.
Oh, you don't drink? There's this big seltzer thing going on. You don't drink this White Claw stuff or what's going? Is that what it's called? White Claw, Jack Claw, Eagle Claw, Talon?
White Claw. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm a little fancy, so champagne is up my alley.
Okay, little Dom Perignon, a little Dom Perignon.
Yeah.
Now I've only seen you a couple times live. And again, you make an impression where I've seen you, and it's been that test of strength the couple times live, personally, that I've seen you live. But I just saw you. You were not actively wrestling. You weren't working, if you will, but you were working behind that merch table, looking beautiful, looking professional, doing your thing, taking pictures, shaking hands sometimes, maybe holding a baby or two. You never know what J Heru's up to over there. But you made your presence known over at BST. You have not wrestled for Blood, Sweat, Tears yet. Is that correct?
Not yet, but never say never.
You never know. So, what brings the talent that doesn't that's maybe not on the roster or on the bill? What brings these outside talents to take the drives and go to these promotions and just making your face, showing your face there? Is that really what it's basically about, getting that J Heru brand out there?
Yes, it's just all about business. Once I'm at a promotion, all right, I want people to know J Heru is here to do business, nothing else.
Mm-hmm. The merch, I noticed. And not only that, when I was going up to talk to one Mr. J Heru, I just wanted a quick little selfie because I wasn't really sure on our relationship. Because again, I've only seen you at TOS, and you've done some nefarious stuff over there. So I didn't know where we really sat. So I just took a quick little selfie while you were on the other side of the merch table. But there was a fan that came up and said, "Hey, where's the J Heru merch? I want to buy some." I did not see any J Heru, but I did see you helping the brothers and sisters out with their merch. How come you did not have no J Heru merch?
Well, to clear the air, I don't help just anybody. I help people that are a part of my crew, which in 1/5 of the Victorium, I was helping Brick City out. So those are my guys. I help them out. It's not I'm gonna help this guy. No, 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 no. I'm gonna help people that's in my circle for one. So, we were just doing business, but they're my guys. So
Okay.
I'm helping them out. Why didn't see J Heru merch? If they want some, they can ask me. I'll get it. But you know, I'm really there for the bigger business, which my business is pretty big, but I'm there for
Mm-hmm.
I'm lurking in the shadows right now.
I got you. And like you said, you were supporting your brothers there, Julio Cruz and Victor Chase, collectively Brick City Boys with a Z. Brick City Boys with a Z. They are making yeah, they are making waves as a tag team right now,
Yes.
making their presence known in many promotions. I love seeing it, my friend. Absolutely love seeing it. What did you call this clique you have? The what?
Victorium. You do this, you throw it up,
Okay.
and then you spin it. You put my signal, then.
Oh, okay. Even I could do that, and I only got one brain cell. I could do that.
It's us three, and then you have Lucas Chase, and you have Brett Ryan Gosselin in the group.
Oh, everybody stop. Everybody calm down right now. You said, and you got to say it correctly. At least I do, because I don't want to get choked out or anything. The Cure, Lucas Chase. You have to say the whole thing. The Cure, Lucas Chase.
The Cure, Lucas Chase, Victorious, BRG, Brick City Boys.
BRG, you don't have to say the whole thing. That's okay. We don't have to say the whole thing for BRG.
I mean, I have to. Part of my little clique, so.
Okay. You do that, and I'll do that, and I won't. Because the names, the talents that you just mentioned, all of you guys are really, really stepping up your game as of late and really making your presence known in many promotions. The names that you just mentioned, the Cure, BRG, the Brick City Boys, and one J Heru. Getting your name out there is probably one of the hardest things to really, get your foot in different promotions and get that brand out there. As we were speaking, are you finding it's a struggle, or are you finding it? I'm doing pretty well right now.
I'm doing pretty well. I don't think I'm struggling. I'm J Heru, so when
That's
I step,
obvious.
people are already gonna know what time it is. I got the Versace, or I'm wearing, suits turtlenecks, whatever, shades. Like they know what time it is once I step in their promotion. I want to do business. Um, I think it's a treat when bookers book me because I'm gonna give all I got. You know, whether they want to cheer me or boo me, but you'll see this.
Uh, I noticed on the Stirring the Pot graphic that your logo it overtook my logo. Like, who did that?
Of
Did you do
course.
that?
Hey, all I'm gonna say is reliable sources.
Okay. All right. You got people. I can understand that. All right. It is what it is. All right. I'll accept.
If you want the people to tune into J Heru, you got to put his logos. Of course, you chose the beautiful picture, whoever, and you gotta choose the logo.
Mhm. All right.
Money.
Well, your people did a fine job, I guess,
Oh yes,
overtaking my logo. It is.
that's how
Um,
we stir the pot.
I want to switch back to the gear just for a minute because, again, you look so great in it. It does it represent anything? You know, the labeling and the designs on your gear. First off, and second off, we like to push the gear makers because there's a lot of great gear makers out there. So we want the talent and even the fans. You know, we want everybody to get to know the gear makers out there. So does it represent anything and the stuff on there? And who is the gear maker?
Yes, my logos. Yes, they're part of my brand. So like no one goes to Target or Walmart and like not see their logo on the stuff. They have to put the logo. You know, so my logo is just a representation of my brand. My gear makers. At first, I did start going with Brawley. He's located in New Jersey.
Mhm.
Jorge Vieira. I started off with him, and then I branched out to No Gimmick Gear. She's located in New York City,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking to do more business, with more gear makers.
Mhm.
And
Uh,
New J Heru gear is coming soon. It's gonna be very beautiful. The logo is gonna be on there, so I'm definitely gonna personify style the next time in the upcoming months when people see me.
well, I will say, No Gimmick Gear has been producing some amazing, and I'm going to double up on that, amazing gear for the talent that is out there right now. If you're getting gear through No Gimmick Gear, you're in you're in good hands. I tell you, because uh, we see the stars that they're working with. They're on TV. They're on the local indie scene. They're right there at the touch of strength, the intimate settings of their training days. The gear is everywhere on these fine, absolute, amazing talents that we're seeing all over the place right now in the independent scene, and again on the higher platforms. Um, let's talk about that a little bit. Where does J Heru? What's he looking for long term goal with wrestling? Is it something that you're looking to make a livelihood out of and be on the TV platforms, the WWEs and such, or are you looking to kind of I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing on the independent level?
I wouldn't say I'm comfortable. I'm never comfortable. I'm always striving for more. But I'm in this for the long haul.
Okay.
Whether I'm on TV or not, people will always feel the presence of J Heru whenever I step through the curtain. All I gotta do is put the signal up. People feel it. It's gonna be the same exact thing if I'm on TV, whether I'm on a dark, whether I'm on NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Impact. You know, I'm the presence is always gonna be the same. I'm in this game for the long haul. I probably die in a wrestling ring, but of course, when I die, have my jewels with me. That's all I will ask.
Uh, if I know, we were just talking about the bigger platforms. Do you watch what's on TV right now? Because not all the talent actually does, which kind of hits me a little weird on that, but not all.
Um, I keep in touch. I keep in touch to see what's out there, what's going on. Who's hot, who's rocking it. I'm just looking in the shadows. I keep up a little bit. Probably not as much as I should, but I do. I know what's going on. I know what's
Mhm.
hot right now is the Moxley Punk thing. I just ended, but it was the hot thing.
Mhm.
Roman Reigns is hot. I follow a little bit just to keep
All right.
up to date.
Yeah, and especially. because with the AEW Dark platform being on YouTube, with so many eyes, I mean, we're talking tens of thousands, even possibly over 100,000. I'm not sure what the numbers are nowadays, but seeing your peers that you work with or what have you, or see some of the friends that you were maybe training with or coming up with or what have you, seeing them get on the platform. I mean, that's a great platform to have so many eyes see that brand per se, the Lucas Chases and whatnot.
Yes, business is booming for them, and I'm happy for them.
Absolutely. Love seeing the familiar faces on these I always say platforms, but it just seems so much more, because as soon as you're on these and all of a sudden everybody's sharing your stuff on the old medias and getting really excited, then you have this match. Maybe you don't make a return. That's okay. Maybe you do make a return. That's even a bonus. Or
Yes.
and we'll use like a Jora Jaw. They snatched that guy right up. They signed that dude. They had him signed right up on the dotted line. I mean, look at the guy. He screams professional wrestling. Uh, not that the rest of the talent doesn't, but George All really got picked up there quite quickly. Platinum Max Caster and such. Let's talk about the promotions, because I did mention Test of Strength, and that's the only place that I have seen you perform. What are some of
Live.
the other? Excuse me.
I said Texas Strength is the only one you see me perform at live.
Yes, live, correct. What are some of the other promotions that you have kind of ventured into so far?
Northeast Wrestling, I'm consistently there. Wrestle Pro here and there. I was recently at Wrestling Open. Those are the top three. I've been at Pro Wrestling Magic in New Jersey.
Oh,
Yep.
now Magic just making their return. Isn't that correct?
Oh, they've never stopped. they've
Well,
they've always been around.
Well, I thought there was just a small hiatus, and they have an event coming up that they were making a thing about it. No, maybe I'm thinking of
I mean,
somebody
yeah,
else.
they're making a thing about Pro Wrestling Magic, but like it never took a hiatus.
Okay. Northeast Wrestling, I have seen your face on their graphics very, very regularly over there. And I love this specifically. And I'm glad you did bring up Northeast Wrestling. What's this relationship you have with Brother Greatness? Because I'm just going to say it. That dude's got a screw loose. He's absolutely lost his ever loving mind over the past year or so. I don't know what's up with this guy, but you seem to have some kind of relationship going on over there. What's up with you and Brother Greatness?
When he wants to let me shine, or when when he gets over like me doing this, we can do great business. But if he wants to keep, if you want to call it screw loose, whatever you want to call it, all right, I let him do him. I just keep doing me. That's
Okay.
it.
You don't happen to just see him screaming at random people or yelling for a Mike Skyros or just randomly screaming it's all about the mission or like wide-eyed and crazy? You don't see that, Brother Greatness? I see that all the time.
Well, I mean, I guess he want whatever result he's after, go chase it. As long as he's not doing it to J Heru, we're fine.
I wish you would stop doing it to me because he scares me.
You're gonna let that little guy scare you?
Well, I mean, he's got a big bark. And I'm not an athlete, J Heru. You can see that I'm not an athlete. Brother Greatness, he's an athlete. He's got conditioning. He's got strength.
I understand.
I mean, I know my place, sir. As I say, I'm built like a candle and I shatter like peanut brittle. So I don't want to get in there. I'm too scared. I'd rather be on the outside doing my thing. Let's talk about what got J Heru interesting, because my pop brought me to my first event. Never forget it. And it's been a rolling thing ever since. Where does wrestling fit in J Heru's life coming up?
As a kid, I always watched wrestling. I consumed myself with it. I had a lot of toys, games, posters, and DVDs, tapes. It just consumed my life at a very young age. So you watch it so much for so long as a kid, you just eliminate being a firefighter, being a cop, being a teacher. being a garbage man, being a UPS worker. You just consume yourself with wrestling for so long at a young age. You're just like, man, I want to beat these guys. Specifically, The Rock. Obviously, I think people know that seeing me wear jewelry, the Versace shirts, the shades, the pants, shoes. Um, he motivated me to become a wrestler. Triple H, their feud alone, from like 98 till 2000, like really gave me that fire to want to be a wrestler. Like I could watch that. I watched it as a fan, and like watching it as a worker. I always get a boost of fire. Watching those guys. You know, those two guys like really motivated me to become a wrestler. I just watched their stuff all the time as a kid.
The Rock just absolutely is very fitting for what J Heru presents to us, the fans, in wrestling. The charisma, uh, the promos, the words, the vocal. That's a big tool in the toolbox that you have to make that connection with us. If you're just doing the same old generic, hey guys, and all of this stuff, it doesn't bring us in. You have to have some personality, that charisma, some creativity, and bringing those words to the bringing the words and the promos and using that as one of the tools. That's very The Rock and J Heru is very fitting.
Even me, like, I didn't even have to speak. If I go like this, many people may not understand, but I'm going to explain this right now. When I go like this, that means somebody's face is about to get stomped in. I'm going to pose after I stomp them. Then put my foot on their face. Take a look at the crowd. Take a look at the bright lights on the top. And then I'll talk.
J Heru, he likes some violence. He likes to, mix it up.
Yes.
Do you have any? It made him give us that beautiful smile, boys and girls. The violence and the fighting. Look at how happy he is. Any previous athletic, sports before becoming a wrestler of any kind?
Yes, I used to run track and field in high school.
Oh.
I was pretty good. I was second in the county for 400-meter hurdles. I was seventh in my section. Top 6 advances, and I got seventh. Yeah, that was a pretty big goal at the time. Seventh, I senior 400-meter hurdles my senior year. So and I won pen relays.
Wow. Accomplishments, because I've never done that in school. I was too effing lazy to run around the track. No, but
yeah, J Heru was always on the scene before becoming on the scene.
Could you tell us, the fans, because we're not an athlete, we're not in the ring, we didn't do, maybe some fans have, but we're athletically into the sports during their high school or college years. But talk to us, the fans, on what track and field did for you to, kind of correlate into wrestling. What do you utilize from track and field to correlate into wrestling?
Track and field, you basically only get like stamina and endurance. Oh, and it's mentally tough because I wasn't a long distance running guy. I was more of a fast sprinter or like mid sprinter, mid distance. But for me, it definitely gave me that mental toughness to like hang in all these years in wrestling and like to blatantly say earlier that I'm in this game for the long haul, because as people say, it's a marathon, it's not a race. And like, that can kind of correlate with my track career. That's basically telling me it's a mental game, stick with it. And as for the in-ring stuff, it it's easy for me to like go the distance, have the stamina, have the endurance to hang in there in the ring, with like fast-paced guys like Kylon King and Dustin Waller, Ichiban, those guys, and like high flyers all across the globe. Track and field got my body, conditioned to be in those scenarios.
You mentioned some fine talent. The Dustin Waller, Kylon King, collectively Miracle Generation. You have one Ichiban, number one. All right, could you? This is a secret just between me and you. No one would ever know. Uh, does Ichiban say anything besides number one and Ichiban? Like that's all he like legitimately says to us. And while he's at the events, like, do you when you guys are in the back room, you know, in the locker room and stuff, and you might be chit chatting? Do you ever have a full blown conversation with Ichiban, or is it only just Ichiban and number one?
Well, I remember, just seeing the guy, first meeting him. He was quiet. I seen him do the number one thing before, and I was walking in the hallways, shining, doing whatever. He was
Okay.
quiet, and I'm like, kiss the boot. He's like, number one, and I'm like, kiss the boot. He's like, number one, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go the other way because he's not gonna annoy me, not gonna ruin my day. I'm J Heru at the end of the day, so I'm gonna walk off.
Well, I thought I was going to get a little insider scoop there, boys and girls, to
Literally,
see
that's
if.
all he does. Either he's not talking or he's saying number one. So I'll just leave him be. If we cross paths, I'm gonna kick him in the face. That's it. But I leave the
Oh
guy
wow!
be.
Don't do that. He's number one. He's our favorite. He's a K1 classic. He is the Killer Kowalski K1 classic champion right now. Are you kidding me? Don't do
Hey,
that.
if anytime I want the title, I'm gonna go after it.
Wow, man, aggressive. Okay, all right. Number one. That's all we got. I really thought we were gonna get some kind of a scoop, boys and girls. I tried for us. I did try.
Yeah,
You
that's my
talk.
scoop.
At NEW, they bring in all sorts of names that are on TV actively. They bring in older generation WWE stars and stuff like that, and they always have this star-studded event. Pretty much all of them. They always got a lot of big names on these shows. Is J Heru one of these students of the games that are asking, hey, how did you like my match? What could I do better? Taking some feedback, or maybe asking the talents, what their, thought might be on something or what have you. Do you kind of pick the brains of the veterans and whatnot?
Yeah, I always pick the brains of the OGs who came before me. Some of these guys I have seen on TV, and like most of them, I like their stuff watching as a kid. So yeah, I want to see like how can I get the same reaction out of them where they did out of me when I was a kid. So I always go in another cook's kitchen and try to take some ingredients.
Hey, a sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that,
Yeah.
Let's talk about I want to swing back now to the Wrestle Open, because those three talents that you mentioned, they are I think Dustin and Kylon have been there since day one, since Wrestle Open started over at Beyond Wrestling, the very first Wrestle Open.
Yeah. They have.
Having that platform through a company like Beyond, that gets your brand, as we were speaking at the beginning, on so many more eyes. A, because you get the fans that go there, the regular fans, and B, it's always televised on IWTV Live, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, every Thursday at 8, 7 Central
And
PM.
that's at the White Eagle in Worcester, Mass.
Yes.
Now, this IWTV, I try to kind of speak about to a lot of the talents, because there was never anything like this. Obviously, we have the technology and the interwebs and all of that, but even for so long, when the interwebs were born and all of this stuff, we didn't have any kind of platform. Again, a platform, a media platform that we could, a one-stop shop with not just two or three, but over 300 promotions you could check out in one place. But not only that, you get so many eyes that are watching J Heru on IWTV when they run their shows. Do you feel a little more pressured when that camera with many more eyes are watching, or is it all the same to J Heru? I bring 1,000,000% every single time. Doesn't matter.
Yes, always. Whether you want to boo me or cheer me, you always feel something real, something organic. Pressure, if it is, I love it. Because it challenges me to do something more and more and more for the fans, for the people watching. Because I'm always going to give them a treat.
Mm.
You know, um, I don't really. I guess it's not pressure for me because I want to be in this predicament. So I love it. I love a good challenge.
The challenge, yes, there it is. The challenge to, raise your stock each time you gain these experiences from match to match, event to event. Now, if you don't mind, could I ask your age? Because we're talking the Kylon Kings and Dustin Wallers. They're barely 20, I think, at best, maybe 21. Mr. J. Heru, where are you on the age line here?
Just a month ago, I turned 26.
Oh, not that bad, not that bad. I was just curious because I know you are a tad older than some of this younger talent coming up right now, very hot and doing their thing. Um, Trying to keep up, is there such a thing with J Heru? Or you got to keep up to me, young boys.
Oh,
Because yeah, that's where J Heru sits with that one, I would say.
yeah. You
uh,
gotta keep up with J Heru because I'm gonna bring it. I don't care what style, whether you're a powerhouse, whether you're a high flyer, whether you're a technical wrestler, you gotta keep up with J Heru.
what does J Heru classify himself as in the wrestling classification?
Oh, of course, stomps and kisses. That's my style. That is a
Why didn't
style
I?
I created for me personally.
Why didn't I see that coming, boys and girls? Because I got one brain cell. Stomps and kisses style, yes. That's like Matt Awesome. I don't know if you're aware of one Matt Awesome. He has the strong chancla style. He has.
I,
I don't know.
I've heard of that name has rang in my ear before. Where is he located?
I want to say the Bronx area, if you will, Bronx, Brooklyn. I almost Bronx. I almost positive he's from the
Oh,
NYC area of Bronx. He carries a chancla wherever he goes. Uh,
yeah. I think I know
yeah.
what you're talking about. That sounds familiar.
Yes. He speaks highly of Mr. Pena, Mr. Steve Pena being his trainer
Mm.
over at the Fallout Shelter. If you're familiar with the Fallout Shelter.
Yeah. Yes. I am. They're under Battle Club.
Yes, yes. Fine facility over there. Oh, that's a fantastic because we haven't talked about J Heru, where he started as a younger J Heru. How long have you been in the business? First off, let's kind of get that out of the way.
I've been in this business for 5 years and 2 months, going on three in September 2nd, first. Um, I started at IWF located in Nutley. I was only there for a month because they closed. And then
Okay.
after that, I located to Rahway, New Jersey, Wrestle Pro, Creator Pro, Jersey. I was there for like, I want to say 3 years. And then I branched out. COVID happened. So, we couldn't train
Mhm.
anywhere. Then when COVID was like, not COVID, when the world opened, um, I went to Cheeseburgers, Worldwide Dojo in Pennsylvania. I forgot the name of it. No, wait. Yeah, I forgot the name. Yeah, in Pennsylvania. And now I'm just, I train there sometimes. I'm just looking at shadows for other schools. Like I said, whenever J Heru steps in the room, he wants to do business.
Well, out of what you've said, because I'm not familiar with Cheeseburger's facility, but I am familiar with Creative Pro, and they have been producing some fine, fine talent that not only have been, obviously on TV and whatnot, but I've had the pleasure and honor of speaking with right here on STP. And we have another one, boys and girls, another Create a Pro talent, been there for a few years, one J Heru. The character, it's all coming together now. I'm the character, the way you carry yourself, the professionalism, your in ring work, all of it. That all makes sense now because one J Heru and Create a Pro having as a training facility absolutely, totally makes sense. Uh, what characters? Let's just pause. Now, Now, J Heru, when you do this stuff, I always thought you were French or something. You're not French by any stretch of the imagination, right?
I'm Caribbean and Italian. I don't know exactly from where, but I'm mixed with those two. It's kind of hard to
Okay.
believe that Italian, I know, but yeah.
Well, I like to say pause. I just wanted to say pause because that's French for pause. And I just wanted to kind of pause for a minute because the Creative Pro and the names that come out of that place, um, you have a class of talents. I mean, the likes of the Shook Crew collectively, Bobby Orlando, Bryce Donovan, Matt, Platinum Max Caster. I can't even talk nowadays. But you have these talents. You have, I believe, maybe CPA might be out of there, and there's so many talents that I can keep going on and on. Talk to us about, because every facility is different. Every trainer trains differently and has a different perspective, if you will, but trying to get the same results. The fans and you connected together. Could you talk to us about the training over at Creative Pro and what it's like? Because again, I'm not going to be doing it myself.
um, my experience training there, they definitely they give you basic fundamentals to take and run with. They do that. With me per se, my personal experience, they were very hard on gimmick character stuff, not gimmick, but character stuff. Bringing the real me out and letting it shine to the world.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, just it was basically those two things that they really were anal about and really forced hard on me.
Okay.
So, they gave me those tools and just had me run on and explore adventures in the business.
All right. Doing a fine job, might I say. Let's talk about J Heru, the name, the persona, and I don't want to say character because let's just face it, boys and girls, there is no way that J Heru and whatever is on his birth certificate, it's got to be the same dude, And as I say in wrestling, just amped up a bit. Is J Heru on your birth certificate? If not, don't tell us because you don't want some weirdos like me getting, looking in your curtains and shit at night. J Heru, the government name or no?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, we'll leave it
The
there.
world may never know.
We'll definitely leave it there. Um, the logo, the name itself, together, it just seems, you have something really, really working for you. Does the name J with just the initial and Haru and the logo, it seems like it's a package, if you will. Does it represent anything besides, all of this Versace-ness and, all of this stuff that you've been speaking, but does it represent anything specifically, or it's just a name that kind of came around?
Oh, wait, the name J Heru?
Yes.
Oh, J Heru. So I'll tell you my full name, Josiah.
Oh,
Um, why?
okay.
why I'm not afraid to. I'm not. Yeah, that's my first name. What do you call it? I'm a huge fan of rap, and I listen to a lot of DMX, Biggie, but one in particularly, I listen to Jay-Z a lot, and you know, I listen to his rhymes, Jay-Z. One time he was like Jehovah, and I'm like, And I had a Haru chain. Haru means sun god. I had a Haru chain, just their logo. So I'm like, what if I take something away from Jay-Z and just say J Heru? I'm like, now I got something. So then I took that, ran with that, and then my logo. Like I said,
Nice.
I treat myself as if I'm a target.
Nice. Do you do your own graphics and whatnot? Do you have, your people take care of business?
I speak to a lot of reliable sources. Reliable sources, people who, if you think my logos is cool, which if you're a smart man, you do. Uh, People that I go to, one in particular, my good friend, Hot Dog Starks, hit him up. Johnny Clash, those two in particularly, they do tremendous jobs at logos. So yeah,
Uh,
definitely those two.
Anybody that mentions Mr. Hot Dog Starks, I lose my absolute shit. I love me some Mr. Hot Dog Starks. Oh my goodness. We spoke with him on STP, and it was right. It was the wildest transition I think I've ever seen a wrestler have. He always wears a hot dog costume, boys and girls. If you do not know who Hot Dog Starks is, all of his references, all of his play on words, all of his props, everything surrounds hot dog. And I do kid you not, everything. So creative. Love me some Hot Dog Starks. But when we talked to Mr. Hot Dog Starks, he was going through some kind of transformation. He got some like regular gear. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life on one Mr. Hot Dog Starks. He started calling himself the Bun Nasty or something like that. Like really taking on a different persona. I was almost scared that we were going to lose Mr. Hot Dog Starks. I don't know where this Bun Nasty has come from, but he's making his presence known. Love me some Mr. Hot Dog Starks.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out. And anybody mentions Mr. Hot Dog Starks, I pop. I'm a mark for Hot Dog Starks, as they say, a mark. We've talked about some promotions that you've already, gotten your foot in the door. Do you have any in your vision? I mean, some of the next ones that you'd really like to, hey, this is J Heru. How can I make your show better? I can make it much more better if you just, give me the opportunity to walk through your doors and let me show you my talent. Do you have any promotions that you have in your sights right now?
Definitely AEW. I want to be on at least a dark.
Okay.
Let's see. Beyond, because I know I'm like technically there with Wrestling Open, but like, right. Beyond, like definitely them. Limitless, House of Glory.
Oh, House of Glory.
Yeah. Pro. And then once I get those, branch out to like down south, the west side, a lot of my sites, regardless of where I'm at, people will remember the name.
J Heru. J Heru. The charisma, the character. Obviously, you have to be born with some of natural ability to bring this out. You can't learn all of how J Heru talks, acts, works, his physicality, his physicalness when he the way he moves, his facials. That's not all taught. There's natural ability right there. And I see J Heru. Obviously you know this, but I don't know Mr. J Heru very well. So that's why we were trying to get to learn a little bit about you. But I don't see nothing but like there is no ceiling for one J Heru because of all of these things that you bring to the table. And you're again taking it by the reins 1,000,000% and not trying to do it half-assed. So sky's the limit for one J Heru. And I know, we're definitely going to be seeing you on TV much sooner than later. Now,
booming.
Now you mentioned
we can do this when I'm on TV. I'm on TV. You hit me up like, "Hey, I want to do an interview." Like, yeah, sure.
I would love to catch up with J Heru down the road, especially. I love to follow the careers, and once they evolve little by little, we would love to have the return of talents because we want to talk to the talents and see where they're at and what they've done and what accomplishments they've made and whatnot, or contacts or networking or experiences they've had on the road or doing whatever they've done. Driving on the road, do you drive solo or do you kind of go with a carpool of compadres? How does J Heru travel?
I'm usually with Brick City Boys, most of the time. But if need be, I have to travel alone, I will. I don't mind.
Okay. Brick City Boys, holy caroli. Those two are characters and mighty fine tag team. I'm not starting no trouble. Mighty fine tag team. But they were wielding bricks, both of them. They were wielding bricks at me and they were telling me to hit the bricks at the same time. I wasn't very appreciative of that. And all I was trying to do would be like, hey guys, I just want to take a quick picture. But they were not quite fond of my presence over there. But Brick City Boys, fine talent. There's got to be some kind of, whimsical story maybe. Could be a legal story. Who cares? Is there any road story, some fun times, or anything that kind of happened on a road that maybe you can share with us, the fans? Because I know there's got to be at least one. We like to have fun on the show and hear some fun stories. You have a nice smile there, my friend. I think you got something in mind.
Uh, it's one too many to like even like get my thoughts cleared about this one. Well, one thing's for sure, Victor Chase, he got the name Milkman, and I'm not gonna dive too deep into that because it's very TV 14.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we're on the road all the time. TV 14 Milkman. That's all I need to say. I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I know kids are gonna be watching.
Man, I was hoping for an in-depth description of the milkman, but that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you just have to hold them beats to yourself. That's fine. That's fine. There is one time uh,
maybe
I
if
had.
if like
Oh, go
maybe
ahead.
if
Go
we
ahead.
have like a TV 14 podcast, maybe I'll expose it.
uh, well, I mean, this specifically is an open forum. I mean, so you can really do what you want. But if you don't, that's fine. That's okay too. But I did want to point out, I did have the Brick City Boys on here collectively. And when I went to introduce him at the very beginning, this is Donkey Keg stirring the pot with my very special guest. And I went to go introduce them singly and then say collectively the Brick City Boys. And I called Julio Cruz Julio Chase. And it was not a great
Woo! I'm surprised they didn't come to that screen and just. Woo!
That's how it started. Okay, so now that I mentioned that, maybe the bricks were warranted. Maybe they were thinking back. Now, yes, now the bricks are warranted. I can understand why. Yeah, great guys though. Really good guys. Great talent. Everything about them. Love what they're doing as well. Uh, Tons of fun. We talk about memories as fans leaving the events. It could be, you know, maybe J Heru giving some stomps and kisses to one of our favorites that we wish he really didn't have done such. It could be some talk about that, or it could be whatever. Maybe it could be something that happened at the intermission at the merch table, and say myself and my dad or myself and my girlfriend, and we're on our way home, and we take these memories home. As I've been talking to the talents, you guys and girls take the memories home with you too, and on the road and back with you and such. Uh, Keeping with the story element, we didn't really get much of a story. Are there any memories that you take away from events that really stick out? Maybe the fans, something that you did jawing with the fans, or something that kind of sticks out, or have some, because we're crazy, Mr. Haru. Maybe some crazy ass woman trying to get her claws onto that Versace to get, Mr. Haru home later on in the evening or something. You never know. Any memorable things that,
uh, no,
on the
no female
events?
woman has tried that with me because after I'm done with my match, I leave. So I get very low key. So that would never happen. Catch me if you. Um, my fondest memory so far is like just having a crowd being so behind me, or if they hate me for that because I beat up their favorite wrestler, you know, like them like getting my name to the highest point of the building. Those memories I will always cherish over like memories with my brothers, memories like my personal memories, like just having the fans have like a lot of reaction, whatever it is. Those memories will always stick with me.
Because the good guy, bad guy, either way, when you get those cheers, it gives you just this amazing, amazing energy. And I know I used the word amazing twice like I did earlier, but I mean, it just feels so different than anything else you've ever experienced. I've been there on the live stage being a musician, and I felt a lot of that energy. So I can totally feel where you're coming from. But I really never got the booze. But I'm to also understand that you get that same kind of energy, getting those boos really nice and loud because you just stomped and kissed one opponent that we cherish. So it does feel equally the energy, it feels equal, good and bad. You know, the boos and cheers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy.
As long as they have me at the center of attention, I'm all good.
Maybe that'll be the title, the center of attention, J Heru. Yes, yes.
That's why my name's the Shining Dawn. That's what it means, center of attention. I just added my own little twist to it.
Oh, whoa! Well, look at that, an organic title right there, just like that, boys and girls. Amazing. So you've only been in the business for 5. You said you would actually die in the ring. I mean, that's kind of probably going a little too much, but I have heard that from a lot of the veterans. You know, and I'll use Terry Funk for an example. I mean, that dude,
He
that dude
personifies
would,
that. That guy's not even
yes.
retired.
Dude, he's got to be like, you know, obviously mid 70s, maybe even later, 80 something, possibly at this point in his life. And that guy, I mean, wow, Terry Funk. That's one of those guys, you know, he just he won't stop until he has to stop. And J Heru seems to be one of those guys. Wrestling is in his blood. You know, I kind of wanted to spin back because I don't know how you appreciate the older era of wrestling. And I'm not talking like you know, 50s and 60s and like that, but I'm talking like we'll say 70s per se, because that's when I was coming up as a fan in wrestling. 1978, my first event, we had Ivan Putski and Tito Santana as tag team champions going against the Wild Samoans with Captain Lou Albano, obviously, as a manager. And the main event, that was a co. The main event was Bob Backlund, the champion, going against Cowboy Bob Orton. And I remember those 2 matches very specifically. When I talk this older era wrestling, do you feel this stuff? Is that stuff that you would look at for watching matches and whatnot? Because I know you're of a different age. We were talking Rock and such. Do you go back in the history files and kind of look at some stuff?
Yes, I'm not familiar with the '70s, but I do know Ric Flair was there. But if you're talking '80s, yes. You know, I watched Ric Flair back. I watched Arn Anderson back. I watched Sting, Ricky Steamboat, and of course the Macho Man. That you gotta watch Macho Man. You know, watch him. You know, those guys really stick out to me. I don't know if I left any names out. Uh, but yeah, those guys. Yes, I definitely go back to my '80s. I always try to see what was popping at that time in the '80s, and like see like how would that fit in with today's crew. But definitely like mentioning Ric Flair and Macho Man alone, like, whew, Macho Man was ahead of his time. He was ahead of centuries.
Yeah.
Rest in
And
peace.
yes, yes, absolutely. It, and he was a minor league ball player. You know, I follow the genius Lenny Poffo, Lanny. I always say Lanny Poffo. I follow his page, and he shares a lot of that stuff. And he just shared not that long ago a very young Randy Savage in his minor league days, and I was just like, wow, man, man, uh, times have a changed, my friend. Not that they ever stay the same, but you know, times have a changed. Um, do you find, you know, the Rock era, the Stone Colds, and here we are in a different time, the modern day of wrestling. Even the fans are much different than they were back there because everybody wants to be smart to the business and know they think they know everything and know how all the gears are being run and how everything is happening in the back room and in the locker rooms and the gorilla area and all and whatnot. They all want to know and they all think that they know. Um, do you find it's kind of a finicky? Brian Daniel says fickle. Do you find it's a fickle time with the fans and the evolution of where we're at in wrestling? Because it kind of pisses me off sometimes the way the fans act towards the talents, to be honest with you.
Uh, I feel like the smart marks will always be there, but like I think we're like going back to where it's like we're closing the curtain a little bit. We're closing the curtain to what's happening because like from my view when I saw that, I just thought it was these podcasters where like release talent from big companies would just, talk down upon that company and say whatever happened backstage on these podcasts where the smart marks just thought they knew everything that was happening. And like, but I think going forward, yeah, the smart marks will always be there, but I think we're bringing it back to where it was originally, where people are just there to watch a good show. I don't think like, it's not going to be as intense as because 2013, I remember that time, smart marks were booming, but like 2022, fast forwarding, like it's transitioning back to where it's like we're just here to watch a good show, be entertained, and just have something organic. I think it's going back to that. I think the intensity of a smart mark that it was in 2013 is dying down a little bit.
I personally hope so, because that's exactly why I go to the shows. I don't want to know the information. I don't need dirt sheets. I don't want to read the rumor mill. I just want to go and be surprised as a fan. If there's, somebody making a return to WWE or AEW or whatever the case may be, I don't want to know. I want to be able to turn on my TV and be surprised as a wrestling fan. That's the way I like it, my man. So even, on the independent scene, I still want to keep it that same way. And I do have a relationship with a lot of the talents, and some of them are excited, and they may want to tell me some of the things that they have going on. Hey, Kincaid, X, blah, 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 you're going to be so stoked. He goes, let me give you a little insight. No. Keep the inside scoop and maybe give it to your mom, because I just want to pop as a fan, keep the information and let me be surprised.
That's what they all want to do, They just want to pop. They just want to react. They just want to be there for a show. The reason why these smart marks, aren't satisfied with stuff is because they ruin it for themselves. Trying to get inside scoop of what's going on backstage, whereas you can just sit down, watch it as you would watch your, Marvels or DCs and like movies, whatever you watch. That's why, like, if you just don't like keep looking into it too much.
Now, I'm not going to ask a favorite match. And I don't ask this question too much, but I feel at 5 years, you have a great future ahead of you. You've already done some really cool stuff. You're in the middle of doing really cool stuff. At this point in your career, what match do you feel, and I know there's a lot to pick from, and I'm not trying to, make you pick this or that, or no slight against any other talent or any match that you've ever had. What do you feel that brought the best out of J Heru as an athlete? Or maybe you just got done with a match and you're like, you know what? That really tested, that challenged me more than anything that any match that I've been through right now. You kind of brought the best out of me, J Heru, as an athlete.
I wouldn't particularly say a match. I'm going to put it as a time frame. So from the time of October 2021 to now, like every match I've approached, I've always felt a satisfaction. I always felt challenged.
Nice.
I always felt like it brought something different out of me. From October to being at Northeast to like now, still killing it. A lot of my matches, I always bring a different approach, and I always give % and maybe like 5-10 years from now, well, I'm not even gonna be retired then, but like, I could like I could pick a match from this time looking back, because I'm like you said, I'm in the middle of doing my cool stuff where it's like it's kind of hard to pick and choose. I freaking did a segment with Mick Foley. That's one of the cool stuff I did this year, so it's really hard to choose.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you being informative, being open, sharing a little bit of your life with us, the fans, on Stirring the Pot, because as I say often on here, when you're at the merch table, Mr. Heru, you're doing your thing, we're doing our thing, and we do that dance at the wrestling shows. We don't get to sit and conversate like this and just kind of get to know the talent like we get to do when we sit down a little bit and take away the environment of the ring, the venue, and just get to know some of our favorite talent that we see right now that are either hot and upcoming as one J Heru, or maybe have been on the scene for 10, 20 years. It does not matter. What I go for, though, is the local talent. I don't want the guys and girls that are on TV. I want the guys and girls that are upcoming, that are making splashes now. Maybe they just started last week. Maybe I saw their first match. Maybe I had their first interview. That's why I do this show, for guys and girls that are upcoming, so we can spread just a little bit of our spotlight, a little shine on one Mr. J Heru. And I can't thank you enough for spending an hour with us, the fans. You've been absolutely fantastic, my friend.
I appreciate the fans for watching, tuning in, and I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Oh, absolutely. Because how can I not have a fantastic run as we have without one J Heru? And before I let you,
best for last.
Maybe that'll be the title. And I saved the best for last. That's a good title too. But before I do let you go, we want the new faces that are seeing Mr. Heru. We want them to be able to find you, and we want them to be able to, if they've heard some of these promotions that we've spoke on and some of the talents, we want them to look them up on the old Twitter and whatnot. But how do the boys and girls find J Heru on the Twitter, on the face page, on the Pornhub, on the OnlyFans, on whatever you've got going on? Hit us with some details, Mr. Heru.
Maybe an OnlyFans will be in my future. Maybe, I don't know. You know, okay. If business boom. But you can find me on Instagram, J Heru Shining Dawn. I'll repeat, Instagram, J Heru Shining Dawn. My Twitter, J Heru Shine Dawn, because Twitter just doesn't want to add Shining Dawn. So J Heru Shine Dawn on Twitter. And Facebook, type in Josiah Heru, JOSIAH Heru.
Well, what a fine hour we've had with one of our new friends, because he's one of these guys, boys and girls, that we haven't known for very long. We've only seen him 2, maybe 3 times live in that ring that we just love, called wrestling. So having him respond, first off, I was like, excellent. But for him to agree to come on STP, what a privilege and an honor for us, the fans. Cannot thank him enough with all of what's been said and all of the information we got about one J Heru. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, one J Heru. Stops and kisses, J Heru. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Remember the name, and that's how I'm gonna close it.